he says, all right, did you say something about working shower? So, Rick, I mean, it's going to take a while for our characters to get used to this, getting used to, happiness, just kids playing around, worrying about if the meal is good that they're going to cook tonight in the little houses that they have. There's a whole bunch of houses. They got a construction crew working on building more of the community. There's about 60 of them now in the community. I mean, it's basically just a full-on safe haven, just a wonderful freaking place. So it's going to take a while to get used to. And our characters have been so, tired of everything that they've gone through. It's just, the chance to calm down. So, I mean, that's nice. So Andrea walks in, starts to talk to Douglas, and for some reason he asks, "Are you single?" And she's like, "Excuse me?" And, "Oh, sorry, it's about housing. We just, want to put the couples in the houses and stuff like that." So, Rick goes, cleans himself up. He shaves off his epic beard. He doesn't look like Chuck Norris anymore. Oh, well. And this one lady gives him a haircut, and she has been here for a while, and apparently the place is run on a power grid. Everything isn't perfect, sometimes there are lighting problems, sometimes they don't have hot water, and Rick is just like, "Hey, I'm just happy to not have to kill zombies every day," and she says, "Oh, believe me, it doesn't last very long." But yeah, very nice place, and look at Rick now. Da-da-da. Can't even recognize him, by the way, that's him. Can't even recognize him. Wow. So, dude, you clean up good, alright. And he asks Carl how everything's going. Carl loves a new place. Everyone's really happy. He asks the kid with the black eye, "Hey, what happened there?" And he says, "Oh, a ball hit me in the face. It was my own fault." And this old lady walks by, and she doesn't look too happy. She bursts into the room where Douglas and apparently the guy with the glasses, who was one of the runners in the Washington, D.C., the one who said Davidson written all over him, he says, well, his name is Heath, by the way, and the guy who fell and busted his leg up, that's Scott. It's gonna take a while because there are lots of characters now being introduced. Pretty hard to keep up with the names and stuff, but yeah, lots of characters. There are even characters in the community that we never even meet, really, so, but, the guy with the glasses who was, one of the runners, his name is Heath, Douglas, and, Regina, I think. Yeah, Regina is the old lady. She's Douglas's wife. She, starts arguing with him and just says, "You know what, why are you letting these people in? We don't know them. They could be dangerous," and they have an argument, and Heath says, "Actually, at first glance, they all seem like good people to me. The only one that has me suspicious is Rick, their leader. Why doesn't that guy like Rick?" Douglas just says, "These people are just happy to be here. They're good people. They're going to help this community and stuff." And, Rick, I mean, he's done a lot of things, but I understand Rick's, intentions. He's a good man. And Heath again says, or he just might turn out to be another Davidson. And Douglas immediately freaks out and grabs him and says, "Davidson!" and throws him and says, "I never want to hear that name again. I told you that. I don't want to hear him again. Not after what he did to us. Not after what he made us do." Alright, so apparently Davidson's a bad guy. Why does Heath not like Rick? Interesting. So Douglas apologizes, freaking out on Heath. He just says, "I don't want to hear that name, alright? He was a bad man. We don't need to talk about that anymore." So lots of mystery going on in this community. We don't really know a whole lot about it. So, even our characters in the community who we don't know are, still suspicious of our new characters. So that's interesting. Rick walks out and finds Carl apparently pushed a kid over. The kid wanted to see his gun that he was carrying with him, and and Carl said no, so then the kid pushed him, so then he pushed him back. So, frick yeah, go Carl. And, the kid goes to tell his dad, tattletale, little kid. Douglas goes over and says, "Oh, we don't want you carrying your weapons around. We keep them in an armory. Because, just for safety reasons and stuff, we don't allow you to carry guns around." And the father goes over and starts yelling of the kid who got pushed down, and he and Rick just fixes it up. Rick is actually, being a nice person and stuff, and, Rick is just being, he's being part of the group, being part of the community now, so, he's, it's going to be a heck of a day, going around all the houses and stuff, being introduced to this giant community. So the armory is going to be where all the guns are, except Michonne's going to keep her ninja sword. She won't use it, though. It's going to be held on a mantle in her room. because, you know, it's Michonne's sword. You can't use it. She's epic. So, he's gonna show them all the houses and stuff so they can split up into the different houses. There are only like 3 spare ones for them for now, but they're still, you know, every week they're building new houses and stuff, so it's a wonderful place. Heath goes over and checks on Scott. Scott isn't doing really well. Heath is worried because apparently they were best friends and stuff, so, oh well. Don't really know Scott a whole lot, though. So, there are the houses. We got a construction crew working on the expansion every day. We got doctors. We got 3 doctors. One of them is a surgeon. We have runners. We have an infirmary. A general store, and a church, but we're still working on the church and the general store. You know, it's a wonderful frickin' place. Lots of useful stuff. So Rick just splits up everyone into the different houses. Abraham is still really angry at Eugene and stuff. He's trying to forgive him, you know. They're sleeping. Everyone decides they're going to sleep in the same house just in case if something goes wrong. If the people turn out to be bad, you know, they'll all be in one place so that'll be safe for them to, you know, get everyone together and leave just in case. Carl and Rick are still, you know, trying to get used to the place. Carl really doesn't like the place. He's starting to not like the place because it feels weird. It feels, you know, it's just weird feeling normal. And Rick just says, come on, it'll be a great place. They hear a knock on the door. Rick gets up, goes over. Douglas was just pointing out that, hey, we're going to be celebrating Halloween tomorrow, so you can get your kids all ready and stuff. We don't know if it is actually Halloween. We lost count on our calendar, but, you know, frick it. Gonna do Halloween tomorrow. And Douglas sees that everyone is in the same house, and he says, oh, that is safe, just in case we do turn out to be dangerous. Good night. So everyone is just so nice. It's so weird. Like, nothing wrong is going on. It's freaking weird. So everyone's doing Halloween and stuff. Carl doesn't like it. He's saying it's stupid. There's no point in dressing up and doing stuff like this. You know, everyone's chatting and stuff. Rick talks with Carl like, dude, what the frick is up, alright? This is a safe place, you know, why are you so pissed? And he just says, everyone, it feels so fake, you know? I mean, I've been so used to doing all this fighting and stuff, being constantly on alert, and now, I mean, I don't want to be weak, you know? I mean, stuff like this never lasts, Dad. Zombies are eventually going to get into this place, and it's not going to be safe. And when it does, I don't want to be weak. I don't want all this normalizing stuff to make me weak. I want to still survive. And Rick realizes that, you know, it makes a whole lot of sense, and he's like, here, I'll take you home. So Douglas and Rick are chatting and stuff. Douglas just thanks Rick and stuff. He asks Rick about placement for everyone in the group because Abraham is on his way to security and construction. Morgan is going to be a chef. Glenn is going to be a runner, replacing Scott because, you know, Glenn is a runner. Maggie's going to be a teacher, so they're going to have 2 teachers now. Rosita's going to work with the doctors, train with them. Eugene is going to be a community planner because that's the only freaking thing he's good at. Gabriel, they're going to have a church in a matter of days, but he's torn with Michonne and Andrea. Doesn't know who they should be. And Rick just, you know, talks with him and stuff. Michonne's gonna be basically his second in command with deputy, I guess. So, you know, that'll be useful having the muscle and stuff. And Andrea is gonna be their lookout. Douglas was confused about a lookout. Like, why do we need a lookout? And he says, just in case if bad people come along, we need a lookout. You know, someone to be the sniper and watch all the time. And just in case if bad people come over, we'll be prepared. And they're like, all right, I guess that makes sense. And he says, there's a tower, you know, several feet ahead of the community, but it's a good lookout place for Andrea. So, yeah, it's a good place. So that night, everyone's still crowded in the same house, you know. Andrea walks out. Everyone's happy. Everyone's really happy. It's a wonderful place. Everyone's just, you know, happy to be safe. And she walks out with Rick, and they kind of chat and stuff, you know. I mean, it feels so fake, you know. Everything's just so weird. I mean, they wave to some random woman who they don't know walking her dog. Okay. Haven't seen that in a while. You know, Andrea just says stuff like this never lasts, so just be happy about it right now, but don't let it make us weak when, you know, it's torn apart. So apparently our characters are just stuck with the fact that apparently they know it's going to be torn apart eventually. Alright? And she, at one point, Rick points out that, these people need us, and if they ever try something, we're just going to be able to beat the crap out of them. They're weak. We're much stronger than them. We could just take over this place if they try and frick with us. So, hey, that's kind of something unlike Rick. Taking control of people and doing whatever the frick you want, alright? Douglas almost overhears the conversation, and, close. So Douglas asks out Andrea. He asks her out and stuff, and he just says, the marriage that I'm in, it was a political marriage, I don't even love her, she knows it, stuff like that, blah, 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 blah. And, he wants to go out with Andrea, and she just says, I'm not interested, see you later, fricker. Glenn and Maggie, the husband and wife, are arguing in the house, normal stuff like that. Andrea kind of smiles like, that creepy dude just hit on me, what the frick. But then that reminds her of Dale, so then she starts to get upset, and she's just very torn apart from Dale being killed, and Rick makes her feel better. So Glenn's like, oh, sorry, did you hear the racket in there? Yeah, but it's okay, it's good to be hearing stuff like that, no time for domestic disputes like that. Yeah, whatever. So next day, Michonne is putting nails on the wall and hanging up her sword. This is cool. It's like a montage. Basically, it recalls the events of how much she used that sword. There's her in the beginning chopping off her boyfriend's arms. Then there's her walking along with her boyfriend chained as a zombie and cutting stuff up before the prison. There's her when she was cutting the zombies in Woodbury. There's her torturing the governor. There's the governor killing Tyrese. There's her rescuing Carl from Volume 9. There's her killing zombies very recently. And she just says, I'm through with you. So, apparently she's not liking the sword or something. So, everything's still normalizing. Abraham isn't too excited about being a construction worker. He's going to have to go outside of the walls where the zombies are and have to work. But, everyone's just very happy, stuff like that. Apparently there's going to be a big party tonight at Douglas's house, where everyone can get to know each other, say hi, stuff like that. They go in and you're chatting and stuff with everybody. Everyone's very happy. It's a very nice place. This one guy's like, hey, what's up? How's it going? And he looks down, and the kid with the black eye is apparently that guy's son. So, hello. And Rick kind of gives him a funny look, the father, like, why does the kid have a black eye? So, everyone's, it's just a wonderful party, happiness and stuff. Andrea and Spencer, Douglas's son, are looking at each other pretty funny, because they're the same age. All right, go Andrea, yeah. Michonne's standing next to 3 random women who we don't know. They're chatting away about, such pointless stuff, Hey, I hear those 2 are going out tonight, huh? Yeah, man, it's so weird, gossip, jeez. And Michonne's just standing there like, oh, and they try and pair her up with someone, so Michonne's just standing like, oh, jeez. Glenn is drunk, apparently, and they get him out of the house and take him back home, and it's like, all right, let's just continue the party anyway. All right. Abraham and Rosita are kind of worried because, he has to go out and construction work tomorrow, so it's going to be a hectic day tomorrow, for him at least. Michonne was getting ready to leave, and the one lady stops and asks her, hey, we cook something for the new arrivals all the time. Would you like me to cook you anything? And she's like, no, I don't want that. And she says, no, really, I'm afraid I'd cook something that you don't like. And Michonne just freaking yells out, worried? This is what you worry about? Because, it's just so weird getting back to normal and stuff, and just the fact that all these people don't really, it feels like they don't even know that there was an apocalypse and that everyone in the entire world is basically dead. It's just so unrealistic and so weird, She storms out of the place. Everyone says goodbye, good night, everything. Michonne feels so alone, because, everyone's just kind of weird. She and Morgan are eyeing each other pretty well. Rick goes over and wants to talk with the drunk Glenn, and apparently Glenn appears to be not drunk, and they're in the room alone, and he says, all right, what did you find? Well, all the guns are locked up in one house, in one room. We could get in there easily and get them. So he's like, all right, I know. That's why I sent you. I want you to get the guns for us, all right? I'm not going to let these people not protect this place like this. I want to protect it because it's important. I'm not going to let them do this, all right? I want our guns, and you're going to get them back for us. So Rick's being mischievous and not being really himself. But yeah. So that's it for now, and see you guys later. Bye.